Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to the second meeting of the Standing Orders Committee of the Second Parliament of Youth Impact Movement. Let's take our prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Youth Impact Parliament. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the executive director of the movement. Endow members of parliament with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of this parliament, the interests and wishes of members may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. Amen. Honourable members, from our last meeting, which was yesterday, the 1st of November, we were able to cover from the cover page to order 52. So from today, we will continue to order 53. We'll continue from order 53, which is interruption of business. So other members, when you have an issue, you just draw our attention to it, because within 3 days you must finish this, and then we are already on the second day. So interruption of business. At any time prior to 3 minutes before the stated time for conducting the sitting, a member may move for the adjournment of the House, or move for the extension of sitting to a definite time later than stated for the concluding of a sitting, except otherwise stated in this order. The Speaker may 3 minutes before the time stated or at any time thereafter interrupt the business proceedings and adjourn the House. Where a sitting is extended to a definite time under paragraph 1b of this order, is the Speaker shall at that time adjourn the House. Where there has not been an extension of a sitting, a member may at that time state for the closing move for the adjournment of the House. Interruption of business. Yes, you might not see the relevance, but it will be relevant at some times. Order 54, suspension of a sitting and recall in the House. The Speaker at any time suspend the House, suspend the sitting of the House, and then all those. The Speaker shall be responsible after consultation with the House for fixing the time when a sitting of the House should be adjourned sine die or a particular day. So Speaker, if he deems fit, call a sitting of the House before the date or time which it has been adjourned to, or at any time of which the House has been adjourned sine die. In any case of grave disorder arising, Mr. Speaker, if he thinks necessary, adjourn the House without question put or suspend the House till a time to be named by him. Closed sitting of the House. So Speaker, in conclusion, in consultation with the House, having regard to the general subject for the remainder of the sitting, having regard to the general interest of the youth and members, move into a closed sitting to discuss a particular matter for the remainder time of the sitting. So a closed sitting is basically a sitting in camera, which means it's a sitting that is not open to the public for observation. That is a closed sitting. And in these proceedings are all talking about that. A person other than acting under the authority of the Speaker shall issue any report or a report to describe the proceedings or decisions of a closed sitting. Disclosure of proceedings or decisions of a closed sitting by any person in any manner shall be treated as gross breach of the privilege of the House. It's a confidential matter, and then that's the end of it. Maize, gavel, and ropes. During the existence of the Parliament, the maize shall be the symbol of the powers, privileges, and authority of the Youth Parliament, entrusted by it to Mr. Speaker. The maize shall stand upright before the table, should be Clerk's table during all sittings of the House. during all sittings of the House, except during committees, committee of the whole House. So the committee of the whole House in our constitution is just more like the House was to, in considering some bills, the consideration stage is not done in plenary, but it's the committee of the whole, usually chaired by the Speaker, where the maid shall be tilted. The maid shall not be removed from the table when sitting of the House is suspended. When sitting is suspended, the maid remains there. During the existence, the gavel shall represent the symbol of power, of the authority, and order of the Speaker. It shall be used to keep order in the House and seal rulings of Mr. Speaker during proceedings. And during the existence, robes shall be worn to symbolize privileges and recognition of the Speaker, Deputy Speakers, Clerk, Deputy Clerks. When Parliament is dissolved, the maid's gavel and robe shall be kept in the custody of, I think it should be the custody of the movement, or the Speaker. I think the movement, we are not being really clear. Let's state executive director. But as a matter of fact, anytime a house will be dissolved, the new house will be formed on that same day. But regardless, we can have this over here. Quorum in youth parliament. The presence of at least 1/3 of all members of parliament besides the person presiding shall be necessary to constitute the quorum of the House. In the absence of quorum, the presence of the presiding officer, clerk or acting clerk, majority leader or MP from majority side, and minority appointment shall constitute a counter quorum for a sitting to start upon a motion moved and seconded by other members present after prayers. So it means even if you don't have 1/3, you can move counter motions after prayers for sitting to commence, and businesses are legit. Publicity of youth parliament activities. The clerk shall be in charge of ensuring that the publicity and media committee publicize any communique or state or petition or any relevant information that the House may deem fit. Committee any other person so designated to do so by the clerk. Shall publicize, communicate, or state of petition or any communique or any other for public consumption or any other person delegated. Okay, that's fine. The English here is not working for me. Person delegated petition. Okay. The deputy clerk publicity shall champion the cause of publicizing activities and sittings of youth parliament with the aid of members of the youth parliament. Other officers shall aid the publicity of sittings and events of the House. Observation of youth parliamentary sittings. Any person can come and observe sittings at a public gallery during proceedings. That's just a dressing. Now, the dressing matter, I think we all have to take a keen look at it. Dressing to a sitting shall expressively be males, a shirt, material trouser, and tie or any decent African wear. So it's stating clearly that apart from material trouser, you can't bring any other trouser for the males. And then the female, preferably non-provocative and official attire made of material or suit. Is African fabric a material? Okay. African fabric is equally a material. That's fine. Then it means the material here can equally cover African types, not only the single color ones for the males. Where the dressing style of an honorable member is deemed to be intimidating or arousing undue attention to honorable members, the attention of the speaker shall be drawn to the situation and shall in like manner make a decision to that effect. Jeans or slippers of any kind shall not be tolerated at sittings unless such is in conformity to general accepted norms, practice, and ethics of the Ghanaian society or an express permission sorted from the speaker and read to the house. That's what it says. When an honorable member falls in the above dressing code, the speaker shall be reserved the absolute right to do a reasonable time prevail excuse. In a reasonable time, prevail excuse. It should be prevailed to excuse the member in question to cover up his or her nakedness. So, okay, yeah, okay. Failure to, on the part of the member to comply with D, which D? Should be 4. He or she shall be referred to the Privileges Committee for appropriate sanctions. Lateness and attendance. A member of the House shall be deemed late if he or she arrives 30 clear minutes after the appointed time for the commencement of the sitting. I think it should be after the commencement of the sitting, not appointed time for the sitting. Commencement of the sitting. So a member that falls should be paragraph A. Let me even do this. Replace. The replace function. Plus. Let's see how many we can find as stated in paragraph 2. 2. Into paragraph 1. Goes to paragraph 1. The preceding paragraph. Okay. So any member that falls paragraph 1 above shall be subject to the payment of a reasonable fine determined by the Privileges Committee. An honorable member shall, however, be exempted from the punitive 2 above if he or she prior to the sitting. A. The clause 3 is not clear. Okay, it should have been prior to the sitting. It should be informs informs Mr. Speaker of his lateness. Yes, I think that makes sense. Chapter 11, Part 11, Order of Business and Proceedings. The business of each sitting day, as discussed by the Business Committee, shall set out in the order paper and shall whenever possible be transacted in the following manner. Prayers. Communication from founders, communication from speaker, ceremonial speeches, votes and proceedings and official reports. So the ceremonial, that means whenever we are even having guests around, they will give their speech before we take votes and proceedings and official reports. That is what it means. Official report, business committee report. Saying business committee reports should rather come before the votes and proceedings, or business committee report, should it come before the votes and proceedings? It should come before. Okay. Question time statement. Complaints of contents of parliament, presentation of petitions, presentation of papers, presentation of lectures. Okay, so if there are any lectures to the house, which are not speeches, it comes after office reports, bills, substantive motions, motions of specific matters, debate on motions, adjournment. Okay. Precedence of business, urgent or priority motions. Motions to be moved under the pertinent standing orders shall be placed on the order paper in the order of priority determined by the business committee. Okay. Motions for which priority is claimed by the speaker's discretion may be placed in the order paper for the next available sitting. Okay. Any other business, any item of business standing on the order paper on each particular day which has not been completed or reached on the interaction of business under the pertinent provision of this standard shall be placed in order paper for such other sitting as the business committee or speaker may determine. Important issues of business will be admitted by Mr. Speaker prior to the adjournment of the House. If there any other so it should be, we don't have I think any other business before should be house within. We don't have any other businesses. Questions or statement item. Okay. Prayers. So speaker shall read prayers at every sitting before any business is there entered upon. No prayers shall be read at, prior to, or after the adjournment. Yes, very clear. Invited guest address and messages. The Parliament may invite any public figure, government appointee, or any other person to observe sittings. Whenever an invited guest delivers an address to the House, Mr. Speaker may convey regards to the House. So I think this one should be ceremonial pieces and guest addresses and messages. Yes. Okay. Statements by Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that's part 12. Mr. Speaker, so statement by Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Speaker may Mr. Speaker may make statements on any matter of youth interest and development in the House. A member of youth parliament may make an announcement or a statement of a government policy which affects youth development, and any such announcement or statement should be limited to facts which is necessary to make known to the House and should not be designed to provoke debate at this stage. Any member may comment briefly, subject to the same limitation. Ceremonial speeches. Ceremonial speeches may be confined to commemorating special events or occasion of deaths of distinguished persons. A. So is it only death that I recognize? Okay. Special events or deaths. So, but okay, deaths are not special events. That's why they are specifically mentioned. Honorable Vixen, are you there? Are you following? Vixen, are you following? Well, statement by members by indulgence of the House
Yeah,
and leave
I'm
of.
listening.
Yeah, you are listening now. Okay. By the indulgence of the House. By the indulgence of the House and leave of the Speaker, a member may at the time appointed for statements under Order 67. I hope that is still Order 67. It's not 62. These are some of the issues we need to check. It's Order 62. 62. Yes, Order 62. Explain a matter of a personal nature or make a statement on a matter of urgent public importance. Any statement other than a statement of a person's nature may be commented upon by members for a limited duration of time, not exceeding an hour. I think it should not exceed 30 minutes. An hour is too much. Or sometimes it might be very informative. Well, at least we'll keep the 30 minutes then. The terms of such proposed statements should first be submitted to Mr. Speaker. Order 75 minute statements. Subject to this, a member may make a statement not lasting for not more than 5 minutes on any subject, not more than 3 minutes. 3 members may make such statements on any sitting day. Let's make this 5 at least. 5. 5. May make such statements on a sitting day, and not more than one such statement may be made by any member in any one meeting of it should be any one session. This is problematic. I think it's more than one. Not more than one such statement. Let's make this 3. Notwithstanding paragraph 2, Mr. Speaker may allow a member to make more than one 5-minute statement in any one session. Commencement of public business. Members of the Youth Parliament. Members of the Youth Parliament shall proceed to debate a presentation on a business made by an invited guest, duty bearer, shortly after the presentation. Okay. Rules of debate. Filing of submission. Any member who wishes to make submission shall recognize or permitted by the speaker before any submission. All submission must be made. All submission must be made. All submission must start by addressing the speaker and their self-introduction. Name, constituency, or position. So we name constituency, or position before starting the submission. Example, arise, I beg. Every member shall address him or herself to the speaker when making submission to draw the attention by acknowledging the speaker. All submissions shall end through an appreciation. Thank you, Mr. or Madam Speaker. No member shall leave the house without permission from the speaker. We are not enforcing this, so at the next sitting we'll try. Debate rules. The speaker or deputy speaker shall be referred to by the name of the offices under members, so shall not take part. I think this one's these are normal rules for me if you'd ask me. Yes, these are normal rules, so I beg for us to jump this. These are normal rules that we have to observe. Interruptions of debate. Debate may be interrupted by a point of order being raised, by a matter of privilege suddenly arising, by an attention being called by absence of quorum, attention being drawn to the presence of strangers. Interruption when a member is speaking. No member shall interrupt any other member except by rising on a point of order. Point of order, that is where any of these orders is alleged to have been infringed upon, where a member speaking shall resume his seat, and the member interrupted shall simply direct attention to the point rising to elucidate some matter raised by a member speaking in the course of the speech, provided that the member speaking is willing to give way and resume his seat. I think that's also fine. Content of speeches. So there shall not be any matter on which judicial decision is pending. So no matter of which is awaiting judicial decision must be raised in Parliament. It shall be out of order to use offensive, abusive, insulting, blasphemous, or unbecoming words, or to impute improper motives to any other member. It shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question. Yeah, so shall be out of order to reconsider any specific question upon which the House has come to a conclusion during a current session, except otherwise by a motion for recession. A speech of a member shall be referred to the subject matter under discussion. Conduct of Mr. Speaker. The conduct of Mr. Speaker shall not be raised except upon a substantive motion and in amendment, question to a member or remarks in a debate or a motion dealing with another subject. Any reference to the conduct of persons mentioned shall be out of order. Motion that a member be no longer heard. If a member uses objectionable words or being called to order fails to retract or explain the words and offer apology to the satisfaction of the speaker, any member may, with the consent of the speaker, move that the member using the objectionable words be no longer heard, and the questions on that motion shall be put forth without amendment. Yeah. So you can use that if you feel someone should not be heard after not agreeing. You can just quote order 78 that member be no longer heard. Anticipation. Shall be out of order to anticipate a business by discussion of a motion dealing with the subject matter of the business on a day prior to that appointed time for the consideration of the House. Shall be out of order to anticipate a bill or motion by discussion of an amendment to it. In determining whether a discussion is out of order on the grounds of anticipation, regard and shall be heard by Mr. Speaker to the priority of that matter in anticipation brought before the House with a reasonable time. Close and closure of debates. No member may speak on any question after the same has been put to by Mr. Speaker. And that is after the voice of ayes and the nays have been given to it. After a question has been proposed and debated, a member may claim to move that the question be now put, and unless it appears to Mr. Speaker that the motion is abuse of the rules of the House or infringement on the rights of the minority, the question be now put shall be put forth and decided without amendment to the debate. So, part 13, order in the House. The chair to be heard in silence. Whenever Mr. Speaker rises to address the House, any member, so there should be comma, any member then standing shall immediately resume his seat, and Mr. Speaker shall be heard in silence. Rulings of the chair not subject to appeal. The Speaker shall be responsible for the observance of order in the House and of the rules of debate, and his decision upon any point of order shall not be open to appeal and shall not be reviewed by the House except upon a substantive motion made after the notice for the rescission of the ruling of the Speaker, unless Mr. Speaker on his own peril withdraws his ruling. Disorderly conduct. 75. I think let's order 75. This order 75 is not about 75. I think if anything, it should be 73 and 74. Disorderly conduct. So Speaker or by any other member rising a point of order in accordance with order. Okay, I think it should be, I know it's not order 74. Maybe it should be in accordance with order 72. I think it should be 72 rather. The Speaker, having called the attention of the member who persists in irrelevance or tedious repetition of either his own argument or arguments used by members, may direct the member to discontinue his speech. Member to withdraw from the House. Enforcement of the Speaker's order. The Speaker may, by order a member. So I think order 84 and 85. Okay. I think all these ones are fine. Order 95, 94, 94, voting, 95 procedure for motions. The 88 is vote of censure and removal. Okay. 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 Suspension of members. 83. Yes. So follow the 83. Defamatory. So defamatory statements to be investigated by the committee. Okay. So defamatory statements to be investigated by the Committee of Privileges should be just Privileges Committee. Privileges Committee. Whenever in an opinion of the person presiding, is it presiding a statement? Presiding. Okay. A statement made by a member prima facie defamatory. The person presiding shall refer the matter for inquiry to the Privileges Committee shall report its findings to the House through the clerk to the Speaker not later than 30 days. Let's make it 15 days. 15 days of the matter being referred. The Privileges Committee shall work on it. Okay. Members suspended, etc. To withdraw from precedence. Okay, member suspended. So, vote of censure and removal. The House may pass a resolution to remove Mr. Speaker or a Deputy Speaker, and a vote of censure on a member. The House may consider such resolutions and come to a decision and refer it to a committee on a motion made by a member. Removal of Mr. Speaker or Deputy Speaker. A motion for the resolution to remove from office Mr. Speaker or a Deputy Speaker shall move in the following 7 days' notice, signed by half of all members of Parliament, shall be given. The motion shall be debated in Parliament within 14 days. Office received by Mr. Speaker and supported by the votes in secret balloting of not less than 3/4 of all members of Parliament. Prior proceedings shall be taken in a committee appointed for that bill. The Speaker or Deputy Speaker shall be entitled to be heard in their defense, that by himself or a rep. Whether Mr. Speaker or Deputy Speaker is to put the proceeding for removal shall preside over such proceedings. Votes of censure on members. So I think it's a similar thing. And the motion shall be within 15 days. The Speaker shall supported by the votes not less than 2/3. So for members, it's 2/3. So you see, a member can remove without this when he breaks the law in the terms of not attending sittings. But when he does all those, but the House still wants to forcibly take him out, that is where the vote of censure is relevant. When the person is not really breaking any rule. Yes, but it's like his attitude is just very bad, take him out. Such persons, that is where the vote of censure is necessary. Because when the person is breaking the rules will take the person out. Yes, the rules will take the person out. So we need to know the use of that. Because the standing order, even though it is a little bit bulky, it does not cover majority of the matters. Yes. So voting in Parliament. No question for decision shall be proposed for determination unless there are present in the House no less than one half of members. This is a problem for us because as a youth parliament, we don't fund. So I think if anything, it should be not less than I think 1/3. 1/3. They said one half of members. Okay, so 1/3 is actually a good number. So a house of 93. Just members. Every member has a vote. Yes. Okay, 1/3 of members of parliament. Observers obviously cannot be counted among the 1/3. So a parliament of 93, at least you need 31 for such big decisions to be taken. When it's a very big decision, at least you need 31. So we determine. So question proposed shall be determined by majority of votes of members present and voting. I think this already conflicts. Okay, present and voting. Okay, wait. Are you saying it should be? No, we are saying these are two matters here. We are talking about a quorum for a decision, which is 1/3. And then when the decision is to be taken, majority of members present and voting would have to vote in favor. Yeah. So these are two issues that we need to get. The speaker shall have neither an original or casting vote. The deputy speaker or any other member presiding shall not retain his original vote whilst presiding. Casting votes shall be in the following order: vote for, the yes vote; vote against, no vote; abstentions, neutral votes. So if the votes for and against an issue are equal, the motion shall stand nullified. It means there is deputy speakers don't have original vote when they are presiding. So it means when they are presiding and there is a tie, it doesn't mean they still. I think let's clear this matter because it looks like the deputy speakers have casting votes when there is a tie. They have casting votes. Until they are presiding. So when they are presiding, they don't have original. But when there's a tie and they are the ones presiding, they have a casting vote. But Mr. Speaker has neither of it votes. I think even Parliament of Ghana has not come to see that is the fact of the matter. Yes, original vote means you not vote when others are voting. But when there's a tie, the deputy speakers have casting votes. I think it makes sense. It makes sense, but it might have not occurred to the office bearers at the national level, if you may ask me. Because if that was the matter, when a deputy speaker is presiding and there is a tie, I think the standing order might be inconsistent with itself in a little bit. Let's look at this matter. We are saying that if the votes for and against an issue are equal, the motion stands nullified. So when a deputy speaker is presiding, so far as there is a tie, it's already nullified per paragraph 5 of Order 91. So there is a little bit of conflict over here. Like the standing orders is inconsistent with itself. No, when there is a tie, the motion is nullified.
When there is a tie, the motion is nullified.
Yeah.
So whoever is chairing does not have an original vote at that time. So if Mr. Speaker is chairing and the two deputies are sitting, they vote. If there's a tie, the motion nullifies. If Mr. Speaker is not around and first deputy speaker is chairing, he doesn't have a voting right. When there's a tie, the motion is nullified.
Okay, but look at this. When the deputy speaker is chairing, don't unmute. When the deputy speaker is chairing, he has a casting vote. So that is where the inconsistency is coming out. Paragraph 5 is saying that when there's a tie, it's already nullified. So I think in order for this thing to carry, we state that whoever is presiding does not have both original and casting.
Yeah.
Because it's looking like the deputy speakers have casting votes. Yes. But that's the fact of the matter. Yes. It looks like the deputy speakers have casting votes. So in order for this matter to be clarified, we will have to state it clear that the speaker or the speaker, deputy speaker, any member presiding does not retain original or casting votes. In order for paragraph 5 to not be contradicting itself.
Sure.
Yes. If you ask so. So the deputy speaker and presiding should not retain his original vote. Original vote, nor a casting vote. Then I think the matter is clarified. Yes. No casting vote while presiding. So I think that paragraph 5 is not creating an ambiguity. Yes. I think that is the problem that Parliament of Ghana might have equally missed their standing orders. I have the drafters of the standing orders have seen this matter. I'm sure this matter that has been under the Supreme Court would have not reached it. Yeah, would have not reached it. Members present but refusing to vote shall be considered as abstentions. Voting shall be done through simple majority voice voting, two-third majority voting. I think this clause is quite a problem. This chapter, this paragraph, I don't think it's relevant.
Okay. Ma'am.
Okay, so secret balloting, secret voting. There shall be secret voting in the House in respect of an election or removal of a person from holding an office of his party. Unqualified persons sitting or voting. Anyone who sits or votes in the House knowing or having reasonable grounds, knowing that he is not entitled to do such, commits an offence which shall be liable by conviction, without penalty, shall be described as Mr. Speaker in consultation with the Privileges Committee. Voting by members. So when a question has been posed by Mr. Speaker at the conclusion of a debate, vote shall be taken by voice vote, which is the aye and the nay, provided that Mr. Speaker may, in his discretion, instead of declaring the results on the voice note, call for a head count. Okay, a member may call for a head count for division in the opinion of the Speaker when voice vote is challenged. In the case of a head count, the Speaker shall count. A member is not obliged to vote. A member may vote in a division even if he did not hear the question being put. So the procedure for divisions is just very clear. Division unnecessarily claim, notwithstanding paragraph 1 of Order 95. Mr. Speaker may, after the lapse of 2-3 minutes, that is also clear. Motions. Part 15, motions. So motions submitted by the speaker at all time addressed the speaker. Verbal motions are accepted. Discretion of speaker. These motions have been used as procedural motions. Adoption for other paper. We don't have adoption of other paper now. Acceptance of reports, address, acceptance of address, acceptance. Okay, address, reports, approval of budget system policies, programs, adjournment of the house. Okay. Okay. I think these ones are all clear. Speaker shall handle motions through the following steps. A member obtains the floor to move a motion. Another member seconds the motion moved. Yes. The speaker states the motion. Members debate the motion if it's debatable. Members may amend the motion if it's amendable. An amendment seconded. Then the speaker shall put the motion to a vote, which is shall put the question on the motion, which is basically put into a vote. The speaker shall announce the results. What happens? Amendment of motions is very simple. Types of motions. So we have main motions, we have subsidiary motions, we have privilege motions, and incidental motions. Order of precedence. Motion for breach of orders, adjournment, petition, counter a previous motion, terminate the delivery, reference to bill, withdraw a motion, suspension of proceedings. Okay, so shall allow procedural motions. Motion to be put now, not be put now, and then all those. These are all clear. Interventional signs. So the interventional signs are very clear. Point of information, correction, contribution. So point of contribution, point of order. Is just very clear. Those are the interventional signs. Bills and acts. So these are the procedures for a bill to be passed in the House. And then office instruments, constitutions, and policy documents shall also go through the same procedure as stated in paragraph 2. And then procedure to amend documents is just simple like this. The ratification, it should be passing and assent to amendment. Okay, I think we should use ratification. Rules concerning petitions. So these are the petitions. Parliamentary committees. Now, members, I'd like to call our majority leader to deal with this one. So he is part of the committee and he will take the one on parliamentary committee. So he'll come to my desk and then do that.
Also, we'll continue from the what's the name? The parliamentary committees, which is order 104. Committee on the whole. There shall be a committee of the whole which shall be chaired by the speaker and clerk as the secretary, with members present as sitting as members of committee. The committee shall deliberate and report to the House on issues and documents referred to it. The committee shall be an ad hoc committee constituted whenever the need arises and stand dissolved after presentation of reports. So committee as a whole kind of stands as an ad hoc committee. Report can be referred to it for deliberation. Once that particular work is done, then the committee stands dissolved. Then we would move to order 105, Committee on Selection. So the Committee of Selection basically is made up of 7 members, with a speaker as the chairperson, the deputy speakers, majority and minority leader, and a member or an observer, and the clerk as secretary. So this is the formation of the Committee on Selection. The Committee of Selection shall appoint members for the Standing Committee and select members and select committees for the new parliament. From the members appointed, will they indicate? No. From the members appointed, would they indicate the chairperson? From the members appointed, would they indicate the chairperson? From the members appointed, will indicate the chairperson, ranking members, and secretary for each committee. So, order 105, paragraph 2 shall read: the Committee of Selection shall appoint members from the standing committees and select committees for the new parliament. From the members appointed, will indicate the chairperson, the committee would indicate the chairperson, ranking members, and secretaries for each committee. Establishment of committees, which is order 106. So these are the following standing committees that will be appointed by the Committee on Selection. So we have the Appointment Committee, Business Committee, Education, Entertainment, Finance, Health and Safety, Internal and External Relations Committee, Organizing Committee, Petitions Committee, Privileges Committee, Publicity and Media Committee, Research and Intelligence Committee, Special Budget Committee, Sports and Games Committee, Standing Order Committee, like this particular committee, like the Standing Order Committee we have in this period currently. Then we have the Welfare Committee. Now let's look at some select committees that we have. We have Committee on Alumni Relations, Committee on Chieftaincy and Culture, Committee on Democracy and Good Governance, Committee on Election Monitoring, Committee on Environmental Protection, on Foreign Affairs, Committee on Gender, Children and Social Protection, Committee on Government Project Monitoring, Committee on Human Rights, and then when you look through, we have the last one to be Committee on Youth Development. When you look at paragraph 3, it says, Parliament shall constitute the above mentioned committees after the presentation of the Committee on Selection's report. All committees shall meet after being constituted by Parliament to start business. It is not allowed for one member of Parliament to chair more than 2 committees except the leaders of the House. So kind of this one is explanatory. So majority minority leader kind of can chair 2 or more committees, but members cannot. So let's look at order 107, which is Appointment Committee. What it looks like and their functions. So the Appointment Committee has 9 members, which is the first deputy speaker as a chairperson, and the second deputy minority leader as ranking member. So 1 clerk to act as the chairperson, deputy majority leader, and then 5 other MPs forms that particular
committee, which is Committee on Appointment. So the committee shall prepare a statement for debate by the House on appointment made by the President of the Republic and other public servants. So I think this one we should make it appointment by the House on appointment by Parliament or those.
Well, it's the president that makes a lot of appointments.
In this particular regard, ours has not appointment, or should it be the executive?
Oh, I think it's trying to give work that you see the appointment committee, apart from our matters, I think even appointments made by the president of Ghana, which comes to Parliament of Ghana, I think our appointment committee should equally give their opinion on those appointed.
Okay.
So I think I buy into that idea because the appointment committee is a seasonal committee. So it's like that gives them some additional job.
Okay. Okay, so let's proceed. So they say the committee shall be responsible for inspecting any person who applied to the UMP and any other person directed to the committee for scrutinization. So for youth in Parliament, because members are not being elected from their various constituencies, appointment committee is responsible when we are about to end a particular parliamentary year and a new one will start. The appointment committee is responsible for scrutinizing and seeing whether members applying for constituencies meet the criteria of the movement. The committee shall also assess anyone else presented by each caucus to hold caucus leadership position and make commentaries on the eligibility to hold offices they are appointed to occupy. So majority leader, minority chief whip, majority chief whip, and those like this committee is responsible for assessing whether or not these people are eligible to hold this particular position. The committee shall assess appointees to head parliamentary committees as chairperson and ranking members, and also make commentaries on their eligibility to hold offices they are appointed.
I think paragraph 5, it will be a duplication of a duty because committee on selection is already responsible for that.
Okay, so we should take it off.
I think we should take it off.
So the committee shall perform any other duty that may be referred to it by the Speaker or the House. Let's look at the business committee. So the business committee is made up of 9 members as usual. The majority leader as the chairperson, minority as the ranking member. It has 1 deputy speaker, deputy clerk as the secretary, the majority chief whip, the minority chief whip, then chairperson of internal and external affairs committee, and then we have chairperson of publicity and media committee, chairperson of the organizing committee, and then chairperson of the welfare committee. So this is what they do. The committee shall compile the order of business for every sitting, which shall be forwarded to the clerk at least 3 days ahead of the impending sitting to set out the order paper for onward dissemination to members. So the business committee is responsible for coming up with agendas for the motion for a particular sitting. So once they are done, they give it to the speaker, to the clerk for it to be disseminated among members. Then we look at paragraph 3. The chairperson of the business committee, the minority leader, shall introduce the business of the House during every sitting as a matter of duty, after which he or she shall appeal to the speaker to open the business for debate and discussion. So as we always do it in the House, this is basically what it means. Any member who wants to present a statement for purposes of debate or motion or petition shall send his or her consent to the business committee at least 5 days ahead of sitting for consideration. So basically, if you have any petition, motion that you want it to be debated, you kindly forward it to the business committee for it to be deliberated and forwarded to the clerk for consideration.
Yes, I have a question. So, in the case where the person does not really want it to be debated, he just wants to present the petition or statement, does it still have to come to the business committee?
Oh yes, it has to come. Or it can be also depending on the gravity of the issue the person is coming along with. It can be what's the name? Adopted by the business committee, or it can be moved straight to what's the name? Private business petitions and the like for the person to table it there. So it can be two ways.
Okay.
So paragraph 5 says, as usual, the committee shall perform any other duty assigned to them by Mr. Speaker of the House. Education Committee, it has 9 members. So from 9 members, which youth MPs as the chairperson, youth MP from another caucus, which is ranking member, and one of the deputy clerks as secretary, and 6 other youth MPs to form a committee and making it up 9. So the committee shall critically examine both new and ongoing government policies, projects, and programs on formal education, their effectiveness as well as their present and future repercussions on the formal educational sectors in the country. So basically, this is what the Education Committee does as far as paragraph 2 is concerned. Let's look at paragraph 3. Let shall prepare statement for debate by the House on continuous government policies on formal education. So all what the business committee does is to present to Parliament, debates, see how government policies on education is going in the various public and private institutions, how the general well-being of students are faring, and then they have to report to Parliament as such. Then we move to the Entertainment Committee. As usual, it also has 9 members. We have a youth MP as the chairperson, and then one youth MP from another caucus as each ranking member. So basically, it means when you see it this way, it means when the chairperson is from the minority, the member from the majority side will be each ranking member, and vice versa. Then we'll have one of the deputy clerks as secretaries and 6 other MPs. So when we look at from paragraph 3 to paragraph 6, it states the functions of the committee. So it shall prepare statements for debate by the House on entertainment activities happening in the country. So basically, the Entertainment Committee basically brings up issues relating to entertainment in the country, organize events for Parliament during Parliamentary Week celebration, organize intercaucus or interparliamentary games and the likes, and then as well as prepare statements for debates on entertainment-related issues in Volta and Ghana as a whole.
I have a question now. If in case we set up YIP chapters in other countries, do they have to come up with their own standing orders, or they use this one?
I mean, this is the general standing orders we have. Just that probably it will be amended such that it will suit the happenings in their countries.
Oh, okay.
So where there's Ghana and it is Kenya, it will be Kenya.
Okay.
Okay. So we look at the Finance Committee, which is Order 101. So as usual, 9 members, a youth MP as the chairperson, and you see the composition of the members there. So it says, shall present statements for debate by the House on continuous government policies on physical and economic planning. The committee shall collect data on the status of Ghana's, the status of the economy of Ghana, the GDP, and the GDP of Ghana, public debt, etc. for statement to the House for debate. So as currently we are having the economic challenges currently as the country is facing, the finance committee is responsible for coming up with data. That's why it's very important that during our debate, we back our debate with data, satisfying data from reliable sources, because almost all our citizens are recorded and uploaded. Who knows? We don't know who's watching. He may make a statement that probably is untrue, and then as usual, so we bite it, and then we won't be able to provide evidence.
Yeah.
So it's very important that we note this from paragraph 3 of Order 111. The committee shall be responsible for advising the House on financial issues. So it's the committee's responsibility to advise the House on investment, how to buy bonds, and the likes, to equip members with, how do I put it, how to be financially disciplined and the likes.
Yeah.
Paragraph 5 says the committee shall perform any other duties assigned to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. Order 112. Order 112 is Health and Safety Committee. 9 members as usual, an MP as the chairperson, and then another MP from another caucus as the chairperson, and everything. When we look at paragraph 2, shall investigate the issues on quality health delivery services rendered to society by government and private hospitals as well as health clinics. So as youth MPs whose responsibility kind of that you have been assigned to the Health and Safety Committee, this is your work. Probably sometimes we are sleeping on the job, because if we should be doing this particular, I'm sure we'll be making a lot of headways as far as this particular paragraph is concerned. Quality of health delivery. Probably in Ho, for example, we have the municipal, we have the teaching hospital, we have some few other private hospitals in town. It's very important that we can begin catching national attention when we zoom and take these particular responsibilities very carefully.
Yeah,
The
indeed.
committee shall present statement to the House for debate on anomalous findings concerning quality health delivery at hospitals, clinics, and safety measures. So if you follow paragraph 2, whatever findings you have, you present it to the House for debate. Probably, who knows, we'll take it from there and then draws the relevant stakeholders' attention pertaining to quality health in this particular hospital. A committee shall identify attitudes and practices that pose present and future health risks to the health of the members in society. So kind of we can start from Parliament. Kind of we should be able to advise us on how we should live healthy and alive, then we'll take it from there. So paragraph 5 says, as usual, shall perform any other duty assigned to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. Order 111 is Internal and External Affairs Committee. 9 members as usual, paragraph 1 says, committee shall prepare statements for debate by the House on policies and bills of government structure. So, as usual, the committee, the Internal and External Affairs, is responsible for coordinating affairs between and among the offices, committees, and officers within the youth parliament. So this is their responsibility, such that the youth parliament has both sides, which is majority and minority, has committees, has structures, the clerks, the office table, and like. This particular committee is responsible for coordinating and having a cordial relationship such that all the bodies of the parliament shall be one fully whole. But look at paragraph 4. It said the committee is also responsible for coordinating affairs between and among youth parliament and its stakeholders. So, for example, we have the other youth parliament in the country. This particular committee's responsibility is to coordinate a cordial relationship between our parliament and those youth parliaments we have outside. And then paragraph 5, as usual, says it shall be perform any duty that is assigned to him by Mr. Speaker or the House. We have the organizing committee, 9 members as usual. The structure of the members have not changed from the other committees. So the committee shall assist in arranging and preparing venues for sitting and programs by Parliament. So as usual, once the name is organizing, it basically states what their function is, but it cannot be reduced to that particular function alone. So that probably is only when we're having sittings that will be relevant.
Yeah.
So when we look at paragraph 3, may organize outreach programs approved by the House. So outreach whereby we go into communities to engage them on sexual, reproductive, probably as last month in October, breast cancer awareness and the likes. Yeah, that is the responsibility of the organizing committee to do that. Probably youth in parliament is young and we may get there one day. And when we get there, we'll see. So, but for now, it seems paragraph 2 is the only function being performed adequately by the organizing committee.
Yeah.
The committee may initiate programs such as excursions, seminars, and campaign on any issue approved by the House. So when it comes to probably election is approaching, we want peace, kind of something. Galamsey is on the rampant currently. The organizing committee shall raise a campaign that Operation Galam stop, kind that the House must debate and approve it. Then we take it from there. So the committee will be, what's the name? Will be responsible for this particular engagement of Parliament. Collaborate with the programs committee and other committees to execute programs approved by Parliament.
Hey,
So
we don't have programs committee. Oh. This is which committee is this? This is organizing, right? We don't have programs committee.
yeah,
So maybe if anything, we can say entertainment or sports and listen or business committee because we don't have programs committee.
okay.
So which of them should we collaborate with?
Collaborate with the business
Yeah,
committee.
okay, business committee. Yeah. I mean that is even why their chair is part of the business committee. So obviously there should be a collaboration.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So the 6 is there. So petitions committee, 9 members as usual. But currently over here, let's pay attention to the composition. Though it is 9 members, the composition has been changed from the other committee. So let's pay attention to the composition here. We have a youth MP as the chairperson, a youth MP from the other side as ranking member, one of the deputy clerks, and then we have the first deputy majority whip, the first deputy minority whip, and 4 other MPs. So this is the change. The change here is the deputy whips that have been added to the petitions committee. And I'm sure we know the reason why the whips have been added here. We know the functions of the whip to various caucuses to align, whip their members to follow the standing orders and other orders of the particular caucus. So when we're having petitions committee, it's very prudent that we add the deputy whips to this particular committee. Let's look at its function. Paragraph 2. The committee shall prepare statement for debate by the House on petitions to presidency or any other public office of Ghana and other countries. The committee to investigate petition referred to it by Mr. Speaker from youth or youth groups of the public who may be aggrieved by any mistake, act of negligence or other shortcomings committed by any public officer.
I have a question. They said
Don't we think we should reduce it to the Parliament?
my issue I'm having here is that these petitions that they are talking about will not be referred to the Speaker of YIP. They are talking about, I don't know whether they are talking about Speaker of Ghana's National Parliament. I think we need
So
to get
that's why I'm of the argument that we should narrow it down to using back Parliament.
Okay, yes. I think I agree with that.
We should narrow it down. So the committee shall prepare statement for debate by the House on petition to Parliament for debate. Oh,
Yes, I think to the Speaker, refer to it by the. No, wait, I'm talking about clause 3 or not clause 2. Yes. Sorry, paragraph 2 is fine. I'm talking about paragraph 3. I think it should investigate, refer to it by Mr. Speaker. So I think we should make it Mr. Speaker, who is talking about the Speaker of Youth Impact Parliament. Wait, we are okay. Yeah.
that is paragraph 3.
Yeah, paragraph 3.
It says what?
Yeah, so the issue here is from youth groups of the public. So are you trying to say that there might be petitions coming from other youth groups to the Speaker of Youth Parliament?
No.
So it should only be internal petitions from members of Parliament. Yes, I think we should make the correction like that.
So the committee to investigate petition referred to it by Mr. Speaker from members of Okay. So paragraph 3 will now read the committee to investigate petition referred to youth by Mr. Speaker from members of youth parliament who may be aggrieved by any mistake or act of negligence or shortcoming committed by any it shouldn't be public officer.
Oh, okay. It should be officer of YIP.
Yeah, officer of YIP or the YIN.
Okay.
Of YIP. YIN. Okay.
So what's about YIF?
Or YIF. YIF. It's an auto save.
Yes. No, not really. But at the end of the correction, we'll save the entire document.
So I shouldn't save for now.
Okay, oh, you can save. Feel free.
Okay. Okay. So the committee in the performance of its duty or may action of the committee in the performance of his duty or any action taken in respect to paragraph 2 of this order and report to the House.
I think it should report to the House on both paragraph 2 and 3.
Okay. Okay. The committee can also submit petition to Mr. Speaker for investigation and report to the House. I think this one is clear. And paragraph 6 is already clear. Look at Privileges Committee. Now, as usual, we know what the Privileges Committee is about, but probably let's see its functions here. So 9 members as usual, but here, let's look at the composition. The composition has slightly changed from what we had before, like having the youth MP as the chairperson. Over here, the second deputy speaker is the chairperson, and the deputy majority leader as a ranking member, and one of the deputy clerks as the secretary, and the deputy minority leader is a member, and 5 other youth MPs forms the Privileges Committee. Now, the committee shall investigate referral of absentee MPs by the Speaker for investigation, interrogation, and recommend to the House whether or not such MPs should be booted out of Parliament, be reprimanded or be acquitted and maintained. So, if MPs are absent from the House, the Privileges Committee, maybe petitions can be sent to the Speaker for a particular MP, and the standing order is already clear. When you absent yourself for 2 or 3 meetings without any official communication to the Speaker, you are automatically sent to the Privileges Committee to justify why you shouldn't be booted out of Parliament, or you'll be reprimanded or acquitted and maintained. So when your how do I put it? Your reasons for not attending that particular sittings make sense to the committee. They recommend you, and you have been acquitted and maintained, as we've seen with in the main parliament, the national parliament, with Honorable Japan and then Honorable
Kwakye.
Henry Cote. Once their reasons were justifiable, they gave them the go ahead to be able to they were appointed and then were maintained in Parliament.
Yeah.
The committee shall recommend to Parliament names of members or leaders to be awarded privileges to or withdraw certain privileges from such leaders or members in strictly honest manner. So if you're in Parliament and probably your conduct is good, and then the Privileges Committee is to watch the attitude of members carefully, such that when it is time for awarding certain privileges to members, the committee recommends names to the Speaker for actions to be taken. or if a particular member is enjoy a particular privilege too much or are abusing that particular privilege, then they will advise the House for that particular privileges to be taken away. So the Privilege Committee has kind of a cool job. The committee shall take up all issues on allegation of breach of order or laws in the House for investigation. So it's very important that we notice as such. And then paragraph 5 says, shall perform any other duty that is referred to them by Mr. Speaker of the House. Publicity Committee, Publicity and Media Committee. 9 members as usual, and then so we are back to the normal composition that we used to have before. So paragraph 2 says the committee shall, among other duties, publish any statement or document issued by Parliament for public consumption. So as usual, we should know what the Publicity Committee and Media Committee. Once their name is there, it should tell you automatically what their duty is. The committee shall educate the public about the activities of the youth parliament. It's very important. It's very important that we are being known for what we are. And it's going to be the responsibility of the youth parliament, this particular committee in engaging the public on our activities and what we stand for. The committee shall project the good image of the House to the public eye. Yes, it's very important that we take it from that particular angle, because we can't be projecting ourselves probably inwardly as good, and then in the public domain, we project ourselves as demons. So it's very important that we project a good image to the public eye, and it's going to be done by the Publicity and Media Committee. Then we look at the committee shall handle social media platforms of the House in consultation with the Deputy Clerk, Publicity, and Mr. Speaker. So this is self-explanatory. The committee shall make available posters to aid publicizing activities of the House. Very, very, very important that we should take note of. The committee shall handle external and internal criticisms and praises about the activities of the House in a way that will not be counterproductive to the integrity of the House. So members of this particular committee must take their duty very seriously, because kind that they are the eye of the parliament and the whole movement as a whole. Because if we don't handle the criticisms and the praises very well, it may go against us in the future. So members of this particular committee must take their work very, very, very serious, so that we can, all what we do will not be counterproductive to the integrity of the House and the movement as a whole. The committee shall network the House with other media, both print and electronic, to propagate and reinforce the participation of youth at all levels of decision making. So it's very important that we look at it that way. Then we look at the Research and Intelligence Committee.
Can you drop the Research and Intelligence Committee one paragraph from the? Yeah. Oh no! Click above the order. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So the Research and Intelligence Committee. So we have the normal composition as the other committees, 9 members as usual. The Research and Intelligence Committee shall furnish the House with findings on matters of interest to the House. So we can refer issues to the committee. Probably they should aid the Finance Committee on doing a market surveillance. Why there's an increase, there's a rampant increase of prices of goods and services in whole. So the Business Committee, the Research and Intelligence Committee can collaborate with the Finance or any other committee to come up with findings. And it's very important that we look at it that way. Maybe find out why members are not attending sittings as usual, and aid the Privileges Committee to do their work. So the Research and Intelligence Committee also has a very cool work to do to aid the House. The committee shall assist other committees to acquire facts, data, and information. So as I rightly said earlier, their duty to help them find accurate, not just any data, accurate facts, data, and information. The committee shall be responsible for intelligence and security issues with respect to the house. We are not security, we are not kind of threatened like that. But who knows? In the future, where we will be gaining much grounds and having say in national issues, who knows? We may be security-wise, we may be a threat. So the committee's responsibility will aid us from paragraph 3. So paragraph 5 says, shall perform any other duties assigned to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. Special Budget Committee. So it has 9 members as usual, and the composition has also slightly changed, having the Deputy Minority Leader and the Deputy Majority Leader as members, and then 4 other members from here. So paragraph 2 says the committee shall be in charge of raising funds for the House, especially during outreach programs. So writing of sponsorship letters and soliciting for funds for Parliament's engagement. Special Budget Committee is responsible for that. Committee shall also recommend other ways of adding more income to strengthen the finances of the House. So maybe the committee has recommended us at the last sitting, recommended that we should pay monthly dues of a particular amount, which the House debated the other time. So that is the duty of the Special Budget Committee. The committee shall coordinate income and aid the Deputy Clerk Finance in the collection of levies, dues, and donations. So the committee, 9 members, together with. So I think here we should state which clerk becomes their secretary, so that the Deputy Clerk Finance becomes their secretary.
Oh, well, I think even in the second parliament, we were very clear about that. So just not, of course, the Deputy Clerk Finance is the secretary to Special Budget Finance Committee and then all others. So I don't think that will be relevant for now.
But probably in the composition I'm talking about.
Yes, I think we should still leave that at the discretion of the committee. Who knows? Maybe there might be 2 accountancy people appointed as deputy clerk.
But in this particular, looking at paragraph 4, the committee shall coordinate income and aid the Deputy Clerk Finance in the collection of levies.
So I think the committee on selection, in its own wisdom, will surely get the Deputy Clerk Finance to do that.
Okay, then we'll take it from there. So the committee shall pre-audit when necessary, and the committee shall perform any other duty that may be referred to them by Mr. Speaker and the House. So we proceed to order 120, which is Sports and Games Committee. So the Sports and Games Committee have 9 members, and its composition is similar to the ones that we have. So the committee shall prepare statement for debate by the House on sports activities and policies in Ghana and the world. So probably as World Cup is fast approaching in this November, Sports and Games Committee. So please, you should be preparing a report so that you'll be giving us a breaking down of how the World Cup whole tournament is going to look like, so that members who don't really have interest in sports can appreciate the upcoming tournament that is going to be celebrated by the whole world. So Sports and Games Committee, you have a work coming up at our next sitting. The committee may organize sports events and games for Parliament, especially during Parliamentary Week celebration. So the Sports Committee, you have a work. So this is where your collaborations will be looking very, very, very cordial. So Sports and Organizing Committee, paragraph 3 is speaking directly to you people. Then we look at paragraph 4. The committee may organize intra-caucus, inter-caucus, and interparliamentary sports events. So,
what's the difference?
What's the difference?
So the intra is, so for example, within majority, we can hold our own games, inter-caucus, minority, majority, then interparliamentary sports, so between the entire parliament. Like we can divide ourselves into teams and
maybe different parliaments.
So the intra is within, inter is outside. So the sports and games committee so can organize games for majority members only, can organize games for minority only, and then can put the two caucuses together and for them to compete each other. So paragraph 5 says, shall perform any other duty that is referred to them by Mr. Speaker or the House. Then we look at standing order committee, like what we are having here currently. This is our work. So I don't think we should be able to, we should even go through order 121. But let's take a careful look at the composition here. Composition has slightly changed from what we used to have from the last committee that we just saw. So over here, the speaker is the chairperson. The clerk, not any deputy clerk, the clerk is the secretary. Then we have the first deputy speaker as a member, the second deputy speaker as a member, the majority leader as a member, the minority leader as a member, and 3 other youth MPs. It's very important that we should know that all the strong leaders of the House have been put in here because this is the standing order committee. The structures of parliament and how parliament will tend to operate and how parliament will not tend to operate is in the standing order. So it's very important, and that is why the speaker himself, to be much abreast with the standing orders, is the chairperson. The clerk that sometimes acts as whip and whip the entire House is the secretary. Then the first deputy speaker, who one way or the other may ascend the chair when in the absence of the speaker, is also here for him to also be abreast, same as the deputy speaker. Now the majority leader, who is the chairperson of the majority caucus, must be much abreast with the standing orders that he or she will aid the whips of his caucus to whip his members, as well as the minority leader and any other 3 MPs as members. So it's very important that we note it as such. And to the members who are not present at this particular meeting, when the recordings are being uploaded, I am begging of you that we should go and have a look for ourselves so that we understand properly what the standing orders are. Because the standing orders are the heart of the parliament. Once we don't get our standing orders right, then we will be having issues as far as the operations of parliament is concerned. So it's very important because we saw how dressing is to be done, how this is to be done, who is to do this and who is to do that. So that in the situation whereby maybe this particular generation of leaders are no more there, probably Mr. Speaker may not be Mr. Speaker forever. Myself as majority leader, I may not be majority leader forever. So it's very important that we take it from that particular angle and teach our members. So when we look at the duties, the committee shall be the duty, the committee shall be the duty of the committee. No, there's a mistake here. The committee shall draft, or it should be the committee shall.
Yes, the committee shall draft.
Yeah. The committee shall draft and codify the rules relating to the proceedings of the House and the general conduct of business which shall be observed in the House and in all its committees. So I'm sure over here is clear. It's clear here. And then the committee shall also consider from time to time and report to the House any proposal for amendment that may be referred to it. So
I think it has to be clear whether it is proposal for the amendment of the standing orders. Because even paragraph 2 should have also been clear that we are referring to the standing orders. I think we need to put those specifications there.
So we shall draft and codify the rules relating to the. Isn't paragraph 2 is clear? Standing order committee. So anything under that particular decision should be telling you everything can be stated in plain language. Sometimes that's why is there for you. Everything will not be stated in plain language. Once we are under welfare committee and something is being said, you know it's been is pertaining to welfare. So let's look at order 122, which is welfare committee, and then probably we'll end here and then we'll continue tomorrow from order 131 to order 1. What is it? 144? 147. Okay, I'm sure by tomorrow we'll be done. So let's look at the welfare committee here. 9 members as usual, a youth MP as chairperson, another youth MP from another. So as I rightly said, let us not forget, if the chairperson is from minority, then the ranking member will be from majority, and vice versa. One of the deputy clerks as its secretary. Then here we have the second deputy majority whip as a member. The second deputy minority whip as a member, another 4 members at 8 members. The committee shall prepare statements for debate by the House on welfare issues of the House or government. So it's very important. The House is the most important one. Probably our voices are too young now. Maybe in the future, where our voices are being bigger than what we have currently, and we take it from there. Ensure that ensure that youth parliament caters for the welfare of its members at the individual and aggregated level. So individually, and this is not to say that probably the welfare committee should go and bring school fees related issues to or very detailed financial related issues to the House for consideration. The finances of the parliament is not that strong for now. Maybe in the future we may have that particular financial muscle to tackle that. But for now, maybe a member is need to be visited, kind of those specific things can be done. And at the cohort level. So it's very important. That's why the second deputy whip of both caucuses are members of the committee, such that they shall draw the attention of the committee of how their members are faring at both sides. And then because we are all in parliament, maybe individually. And when it comes to issues relating to welfare, it's not when we say welfare, sometimes we look at contributing money. Psychologically, emotionally, sometimes you see that this particular member is emotionally traumatized, which needs somebody to be spoken to. So that's why we must be very, very observant as far as our youth MPs are. And then the welfare committee, maybe your needs is sometimes we've reduced the work to only sharing what's the name? Item 13. No. Your work, your duty is very, very cumbersome over here. And it's very important that you look at it that way. Then paragraph 4 says, make to deliberate, decide, and present report occasionally on possible ways youth parliament can intervene on the event that a calamity befalls on a member. So as I rightly said earlier, we may get there. Probably a particular member is suffering from emotional trouble, financial issues, any other thing. The committee can come together and propose to the House how maybe the House can contribute some 555 series and put it. So honorable members, I need money. I need money. So I mean, a calamity has befallen me. My phone is spoiled. Maybe I'll be laying this particular I'll be tabling this particular motion in Parliament at our next meeting so that the welfare committee look at it and see how best. Maybe if they can sell me the speaker's laptop to buy me a phone. Then we look at paragraph 5, which is shall perform any other duties that refer to them by this. So, honorable members, we're looking at the committees of Parliament, the standing and the select committees. God willing, tomorrow we'll continue from order 1, 2, 3, which is Committee on Alumni Relations. Then we take it from there. So it's very important that those who have not been able to join us as the live session will join us when the video is uploaded on our social media handles. We can rest our thoughts. And once we are abreast with the standing, I'm sure we are all going to behave in a manner which is going to benefit all of us and project the image of youth in Parliament.
Honourable members, on that note, the second meeting of the Standing Orders Committee hereby stand adjourned to our third meeting on 3rd November 2022. Thank you.